Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Three Man Weave Saturday morning Best Bets show. We're here, we're ready to rock. We're talking the first, I think it's actually the second triple digit game slate of the year. I believe opening day had 100 plus, but we're back with another condensed 100 plus slate today because apparently we're kowtowing to our football overlords and trying to get all the games in before tonight. So, very, very busy day, morning, afternoon type of slate. Whatever, we're excited for it. There's good games. There's some sneaky under the radar ones we're excited for. We'll get to those in a second, though. First of all, Matthew, how is fatherhood treating you? We're
It's
happy to have you
good.
back on this
Eh.
program. Are you excited?
Thrilled. No, fatherhood's great, Jim. It's a dream come true. From the hours of 5 a.m. to 2 a.m. The other 3 hours, it's less of a dream, I'll say, Kai. But I spent those 3 hours last night just thinking about my Hoosiers and what a special year was on the gridiron. Just a special season. So
Yeah.
apologies to
Well,
you SEC loyalists out there, but Big Ten football conference, SEC basketball conference.
yeah, if there's one lesson we learned from college football this year, it's schedule easy. Doesn't matter who you play, and you'll be rewarded. So that's the Indiana Hoosiers. I'm just kidding. Hey, I'm doing well. I'm doing good as well, Jim. I would like to talk real quick about Western Michigan. You see, Western Michigan had them pick game close 2-3, so great bet. Up by 20 in the second half, up by 22 actually with less than 6 minutes to play. 99.7% chance to win per KenPom. Really, all they had to do is run the clock out. Instead, dumb shot after dumb shot, missing shots, Valpo hitting shots, blah, 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 yada, yada. If Valpo wins on a half-court buzzer beater to ruin everything. It was one of the worst beats of my life. This is Best Bet show, so I wanted to get it off my chest, and now I have. And now we look forward to Saturday.
Yeah, Kai, it kind of reminded me of remember I don't know if anybody watching saw or read the John Boyce article about if Barry Bonds had never swung his bat, he still would have been like one of the best hitters in the league.
Yes.
If Western Michigan had never taken a shot in the final 6 minutes and just found a way to sit on the ball and
Yep.
not turn it over, I think they win the game. I think they win the game. So they
Almost
were able to
impossible.
actively harm themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, not great. I'm going to give a hat tip to Cincinnati. Got a big win over Dayton. It was one of my best
Yeah.
bets for Action Network, so I was happy to see that. They almost blew it too, Kai. They were up 18, let it get down to 4, and Dayton had a layup just barely roll off the rim that would have cut it to 2. And I think Cincinnati was rather fortunate to get out of there with that 7 point win. But the defense prevailed. Big win for the Bearcats in the Buckeye State. Big day for the Buckeye State today in the football world. Okay, let's get into hoops, guys. We'll start with UCLA versus North Carolina out at the CBS Sports Classic in New York, Madison Square Garden. UCLA a slight favorite here, 1.5 points, total of 149. Kai, at UNC, I think the biggest thing I know for them is they keep getting off to slow
Yeah.
starts every single game. They're down. They can't figure out how to get into the game until they really have their backs against the wall. That's going to be a problem if that happens again here. How are you looking at this game?
I think it's UNC's game. I'm actually a little surprised this line hasn't moved at all. UCLA's been awesome, no question about it. Top 5 defense. They've eked out some tough wins, so they've definitely proven they can finish games, unlike North Carolina when they make their comeback. And in North Carolina, I think I saw a tweet today. Sorry, I forgot who it was, but they need this game. They're one of the teams that really need a win today for their resume. They've fallen short against top-tier competition. 5 losses against KenPom top 20 schools, 4 losses to top 10 schools. 3 of which were by 2 possessions or less. They're getting close. I think they're still a pretty good team. This is their last chance though for a quality win outside of the ACC. And let's be honest, there won't be a lot of chances in the ACC this season. They have the ball handlers to combat UCLA's defense. They have way more offensive firepower. The Bruins kind of need to win ugly in their games, and they have been this season. Matt, despite the Cronin versus Hubert Davis lopsided matchup, this feels like
Mhm.
North Carolina's game, and I took the Tar Heels.
I agree. I think in my plumes, Kai, the
Blooms,
Tar
yes.
Heels feel right here. And obviously, you have to mention the West to East Coast travel. We saw in football that the new conference realignment with the West to East and East to West as well does sort of, it does matter. How much it matters, we'll see. I do think this spot just feels very UNC-ish to me. I trust it. I do think if Cronin really commits to going inside, which he has with Bilodeau, kind of a surprise. Like, we thought he'd be good for this team, but he's been like a real weapon inside, and they have like an actual low post score. UNC's post defense, not great. But I think if this is a classic Cronin game, Jim, it's like you bombard the glass just like Florida did. Even if you don't make shots, UCLA should be at least in this game because they probably shoot more balls, as Buzz Williams says, than the Tar Heels here.
Well, the key for not getting outshot is don't turn the ball over for North Carolina. UCLA is crazy maniacal with their perimeter defense. Kobe Johnson has been a perfect fit in the Mick Cronin defensive scheme. And North Carolina takes care of the ball. They got multiple ball handlers out there. They play that 3-guard lineup quite a bit. Captain Jack, Ian Jackson, even started to look good a little bit against Florida, giving them a little bit of that 5-star pedigree that they need. But yeah, I do worry about them in the post. The Oregon State thing's weird, Matt, with Bilodeau being as good as he is. It seems like multiple guys left that Oregon State team and got better, but then Oregon State got better when they left.
It's just amazing.
So
I know, right?
I can't really figure out the math going on there. Kai, I'm worried about your camera right now.
I got it. Sorry.
He's wrestling with it over there. No, I do lean with Kai, though, here. I just looked at this game, and I felt like this is kind of the back against the wall.
Yeah.
North Carolina actually gets the big win they need. Not quite the same as Cincinnati-Dayton last night, but it meant more, I think, for Cincinnati to get that win than it did for Dayton with their resume already lined up pretty good. So I'm with Kai. I like UNC there as a slight dog. The other game from Madison Square Garden is Ohio State, not just a football school today. They are taking on Kentucky. Right now it's circa, that's the one I'm going off of. Kentucky -8. I think there was some 7.5 out there in the market as well. High total of 160.5. Matthias Michi Johnson away from the team right now, taking a leave of absence. We don't know what's going on with Aaron Bradshaw. Apparently Quez Glover is like a game time decision as well. Is there enough here for Ohio State to hang with Kentucky, who is only really down Krisa and still has a pretty deep rotation?
Yeah, and we talked about how, not having Krisa actually makes the rotations easier for Pope. With all due respect to Krisa, we like more of the others playing at that creator position. Sorry, Kurt. But yeah, Kai, I don't want to lay it with Kentucky. I definitely don't want to take points with Ohio State here. They just feel very brittle. I've been sort of low on this team all season. I just don't know if not that Kentucky's super physical, but I do think when they have an edge on the glass, that's like, if you give Mark Pope an edge on the glass, he's going to have an edge probably on the perimeter and just an execution. I don't see a lot of path here for Ohio State to cover this game. I know it's a big number, but it's a big total. So 7 probably feels more like 5 with a lower, more normal total, I guess. So stay away from me. I guess if you're backing the Buckeyes based on the seemingly high spread, I would just tread lightly. That's all I'd say.
Yeah, Ohio State, it feels like they're on the decline a little bit, and I know we've talked about this a bit. Smashed by Maryland, bounced back against Rutgers, but then smashed by Auburn. And I can't tell, is it, are those bad losses necessarily? I don't know. Maryland and obviously Auburn could be really, really good. I think No Michi, though, is a huge problem. I think he matters a ton. Jim mentioned the big man situation is still a question mark. And Kentucky is just a polished product at this point. They're deep. They fit perfectly together. It feels like this could be kind of a runaway game. Frankly, I'm surprised the spread's not gone up even more, because I know people are probably like-minded in this thought that Kentucky kind of runs away today. I think they win by double digits. I lean towards Kentucky. Did not actually lay the points, though.
Yeah, I couldn't quite get there on the number either, Kai, but just in my plumes, to quote our guy, yes, Matt here, it felt like Kentucky's game. Both teams have some regression coming on their defensive three-point numbers, and both teams can really shoot. So perhaps you do see high scoring just based on them knocking threes down. But I still think Ohio State is a little bit above its head. They're missing Michi, who is one of their shooters. I'm with Kai too. The more finished product here is Kentucky, which is surprising given all their turnover. But Pope's just that good of a coach. They've really come together and become kind of a finished product, like I said. So I lean Kentucky. Didn't quite get there on the number or total. I will have other bets, don't worry, on the slate. There's enough games. We don't have to bet them all.
That's right.
Mississippi State at Memphis. Kai, we have an SEC team playing a team that's not in the SEC. Maybe it's that simple. I don't know. Right now, Mississippi State, a 1.5-point favorite, a total of 149. Jeff Goodman says no respect because Memphis is ranked in the AP poll and they're an underdog at home. I just couldn't help but chuckle at that.
Is Mississippi State ranked?
No, they're not currently.
Really?
I don't think.
That surprised me.
Let me double check.
Yeah, I wonder if the SEC thing is part of the reason for the move. Frankly, I'm a little surprised they're a favorite. I was hoping to bet them as a dog, but I didn't really get a chance to pull the trigger. Memphis is no joke. Can they keep being the number 3 3-point percentage team in the country? I don't necessarily think so. And Mississippi State is certainly due for some regression defensively from the 3-point line. The question is, can the Bulldogs keep the Tigers off the foul line, the other line? Memphis made kind of a living getting to the foul line, and Mississippi State, as kind of Jans's defensive, can say weakness or by design, is very physical and allows a lot of free throws. So that's probably the one edge Memphis has. Otherwise, Mississippi State's been a kind of a juggernaut this season. Again, I would have liked to get +2, Matthew. They're a favorite. I'm staying away. It's kind of where I made the game anyways. But yeah, not getting involved.
Yeah, I'm not either. I guess I'm a little bit surprised, though, to see the Mississippi State money. Like, I mean, Memphis is still a very competent team at home against better competition. That's where they play well, right? I think the Memphis problem is last year we saw it. This year we just saw it with the letdown against Arkansas State. Although, I mean, the Red Wolves are a talented team. I don't think that's like a terrible loss. I know it's a bad loss by tournament, metrics, but I don't think that makes me look at Memphis as like, this team's a fraud. It's like, it was one game. No. But yeah, Jim, I mean, with how much the Bulldogs have struck a balance between physicality and actual skill and offensive. Like, I mean, they can shoot now. It's just a complete Jans team. All the shot volume metrics look really good. I like both teams. Stay away. Just kind of simple for me.
Yeah, I don't think it's overly common for a team to be top 40 in both offensive rebound rate and turnover rate, and that's Mississippi State. That's how you get those shot volume metrics to look so good. I also still just don't think Tyrese Hunter's a 50% three-point shooter. Call me crazy.
He's got the Maui bump, Jim. That's what he had in 3 games.
Last year he made like 1 3 per game at 34%. This year he's making 3 per game at 50%. I still think there's some shakiness in those numbers, a little unsustainability. I do lean Mississippi State, but number-wise, I don't have them favored, so I can't bet it. Number would actually lean Memphis if I were to go strictly on that, and I'm not because my gut leans the other way. So sitting that one out as well. The game I am betting, Matthew, Marquette at Xavier. Golden Eagles going on the road after they knocked off Butler in their conference opener. Xavier had the heartbreaking OT loss at UConn. They played really well without Zach Freemantle. I'm taking the home dog here. Got it at 5.5. I think the guard play and the structure of the roster looked a little bit better, where they weren't trying to force the ball into Freemantle. I think guys kind of ascended into more natural scoring roles on the perimeter. I know they shot it really well, but I think that team's going to shoot the ball really well all year. And Marquette, while they have been awesome this year, they have a couple road losses at Iowa State, at Dayton. And I think that Xavier's got enough guys that can throw at Cam Jones, maybe not elite defenders, but they've got enough that can throw at them, and Xavier can handle the ball. So I like Xavier plus 5.5. What say you?
No, I agree. I was wanting 5 so badly that I ended up just waiting too long, and now I'm just probably I should still probably bet at 4.5. So I agree with you. I think the matchup actually favors Xavier. We think this new version of Xavier could be good, right? And in this matchup, if they're too small up front, I don't think Marquette's going to punish you inside, like with post-ups or stuff at the rim, right? It's got to stay in front, keep drivers in front, Kai, protect the ball. I'm going to probably play Xavier before the show's over. I don't know why I had him just staring at the board right now, looking for maybe a rogue 5 to appear, but I like the X-Men at home. I do.
Hey, man, I'm even worse. I took 4. I jumped on 4, partially because I was driving towards Missouri, and I needed to not really be picky on the line. But yeah, I think Xavier's in major trouble overall in terms of tournament perspective. Their resume's bad, and they don't have Freemantle. But Jim said the effort against UConn was awesome, and oddly, perhaps their offense kind of works better without Freemantle. It frees up their guards to be more loose, and they have a foursome of guards that are just fantastic. 1.25 points per possession against UConn. However, they were 13 for 24 from 3. Is that the reason they look so good? Because shots were falling. We'll see against Marquette. You need to be able to handle the ball. They do have great guards, but the turnovers overall for the team has not been great this season. I'm not really afraid of Marquette. Their bigs taking advantage of no Freemantle. I don't think that's an issue. And I think Xavier's home court is going to be juiced. They need this game like blood. Cintas Center should be right. I know it's December 21st. Hopefully the kids are still around for this game. But I took Xavier as well, Jim. At a worse number, Musketeers for me.
Everybody from Cincinnati, everybody goes to Xavier, and Cincinnati's from Cincinnati. That city is as territorial as you will find. Right. That's what I'm banking on. So the people are still around. They'll still go to the game and show up for a top 10 team coming into town.
I think the Big East in general, Jim, have like good home courts throughout the year. They don't have like the Big Ten where it's like a clear students are on campus, student go home. I don't know.
And yeah, Kai, I like your point about Marquette is ferocious offensively, but it's not via physicality with like somebody pounding them inside where you're really sorely missing a big man. I think they can kind of get by with that absence here. So yeah, I like the Muskies. I also think a lot of points. I took the over for some as well. All right, Matthew, let's get to Chat Mob part 1 here. Somebody just said Ted Spencer said he took Xavier Marquette over. I'm with you, Ted. Let's do
Fantastic.
it. Matt, Chat Mob part 1. Join the burner if you're not in it. Quick little ad plug here. We've been talking about games all morning already, and we'll continue to do so throughout the day and throughout the season. So get in there, $6 a month. You get that. You get the film room with Kevin Sweeney and Eric Fawcett. You get all of Trilly's intel. The potential portal list is starting to spread. So if you're not there yet, please join. It is well worth the $6 a month, as Kai is pointing to. It's in the description, so click that link. All right, Matthew, Chat Mob, let's do it.
Yep, portal season starts early this year, Jim. A couple of news updates here breaking. First off, San Diego State's flight is delayed to San Jose, so the Aztecs, we'll probably talk about that later.
I wonder if I wonder if people knew about that. That line crashed overnight.
It was released last night, and now it's actually gotten worse. So, yeah. Anyway, and then also let's just go right to Chat Mob question from Nick Sharing, excuse me. St. Joe's at Virginia Tech, and I just want to say that Xavier Brown, if I'm looking at it's just been confirmed out. Jim,
it's a neutral.
That line got bet up pretty quickly. Thoughts on the Hokies against the Hawks of Hawk Hill?
Yeah, people have been taking Virginia Tech, and it seems like, St. Joe's was fine last game because they blew out American, but the shooting splits were nuts. St. Joe's shot the lights out without Brown in that game. I think their role players did step up. There's a little bit of, I won't call it Ewing theory, but we've always seen like sometimes teams get the 1-game boost. Perhaps we should be worried about that with Xavier, but I'm not ready to back Virginia Tech against a real team. I think they're bad, so I'm sitting that out, Matt.
Yeah, I think you're getting St. Joe's cheap.
Kai, how about Mr. Zangang? Florida State blowout winner, he asks. Money coming in on the Noles hosting the shorthanded Louisville Cardinals at home. What are your thoughts? I'm on the Noles, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I lean towards the Noles. They're much better than I expected this season. I think more than anybody expected. It's kind of like an old school Leonard Hamilton defensive team once again. His best defense since they were good the last time. Yeah, I think Louisville's going to struggle handling the ball. I think Louisville's going to struggle with their size. And Louisville's lack of depth is a real problem, especially on the road. So I do lean towards Florida State.
Yeah, I don't know if this game got dummied. It opened Florida State -2, got immediately bet at circa -1.5. Louisville, like flipped, and now it's back to Florida State -1. I'm with the Noles too.
Hey, Jim, how a little San Diego tilt? UC San Diego, like maybe the best team in college basketball, against the Fighting Steve Lavins, one of the worst teams in college basketball. Big number. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, people bet in San Diego because of UC San Diego off that huge win over undefeated Utah State. Maybe a little bit of a human nature letdown spot. I'm not going to take San Diego. Can't recommend that. But, Matt, I'm sticking to my guns on the over with the Tritons. They should have gotten there on all numbers against Utah State, except neither team could shoot. I think this one pinballs back and forth a little bit. I like the over.
Kai, Maryland, Syracuse did not make the outline, big game, or we thought it could be a big game, but when you see a spread of 14 and you see Syracuse continue to lay eggs in big spots, just like, what is Syracuse at this point anymore? Maryland -14, 2 touchdowns on a neutral.
It's way too big. I wrote up for Action Network. I even said Maryland minus whatever, because the matchup is all Maryland. Let's be honest. It's not. There's nothing about Syracuse in this game that would make you want to take them, except for the fact that it's a huge spread, and Syracuse they've competed with good teams. The covering against Texas and Texas Tech basically had a chance to win both those games on neutrals. Gives me enough confidence that they can hang around with this Maryland squad. I worry about the interior, Queen and Reese. I worry about no J.J. Starling still. I think he's incredibly important for Syracuse. The on-off stats kind of back that up, at least for the early going. But it's way too big. Syracuse is the play there for me.
Yeah, same. As pointed out in our Discord, Syracuse has played 2 games in Barclays already.
They have, yes.
In the same place.
Yep.
So.
And those are the games they covered, I believe. The Texas Tech.
Yep.
Hey, how about another New York City adjacent, we'll say, in Newark, Kai, not so far away. Rutgers playing Princeton. Big money on the Scarlet Knights, the young Scarlet Knights, who I don't think deserve to be laying a touchdown. I think it's a good team, but not a team I trust to emphatically put away while not as good as we thought, still a very good Princeton team.
Yeah, too many points, I think. I'd lean towards Princeton at 7. I think the line's gotten a little bit high. Yeah.
Matt, don't you like the angle of they've got an old Princeton guy on the team?
Oh, that's right.
Martini can
Crap.
get a little scouting report.
Okay, never mind. Scrap that. Yeah, Jim, that angle is yet to be validated, but anecdotally, it is razor sharp, hitting at like 80%. Last question here, Kai.
Oh, for
Got
me.
actually a lot more coming up. We'll save that for we'll do a big second mob batch here, but let's get right back to let's go Liberty versus Arlington, Kai. The Mavs. I'd say your Mavs. You're kind of a Mav guy last year, weren't you?
I bet Arlington every game.
Jim can
Okay,
take
Jim,
this
you're
one.
the Mavs. Going to Liberty, who it kind of been your Flames too. Both of you kind of convinced me this Liberty team would be awesome, and they are up to top 70 in KenPom. Weird matchup, pace battle, of course. Thoughts?
Yeah, I like Arlington. I just think it's too big, but man, I don't like betting against Liberty. They just execute, execute, execute. If you make mistakes against them and Arlington can get a little sloppy at times, they will take advantage. But I just thought it was too big, Matt. I think
Yep.
I've had Arlington rated higher than the market all season.
Lance Ware, Jim, been kind of a monster lately for the Mavs, and they need some size up front. They've been a bad rebounding team. All right, Kai, back to Outline. Let's do it.
Beware of where. Beware of where.
All right.
Taking it back to Kai, even though I'm the host.
Yeah,
I'll
go ahead,
keep
Jim.
going. I'll take
Jim, you do
my
it.
host duties back. Yeah,
Sorry.
perfect.
Not to.
All right, another neutral site here, the Pentagon, one of my favorite venues to watch games in because of that beautiful parquet floor. Utah versus Iowa. Big old number here in the total, 163.5 points. Both these teams like to go. Both these teams can score. Iowa, a slight favorite, -1.5. Matthias, I'll go right back to you here. Utah, maybe not quite as good as numbers indicate because they've smashed teams at elevation at home, as we've seen a lot in multiple years. But Iowa has also not been quite as sterling as they typically are. I have no take on the side here or the total, Matt. Help me out.
I sort of saw the Pentagon venue, Jim. I saw Iowa and Utah. I saw Iowa making shots from the parking lot. I saw Utah getting every rebound and scoring at will and size with their fairly seismic size advantage. It's you mentioned this, Jim. It's when you watch them play, the size really jumps off the TV. I like the over. I mean, it feels like it's a big number, 164, but I think it's like a 170, 92, 85 type game here, Kai.
Yeah, Utah has 0 good wins, man. They have no wins against the top 180. They played Mississippi State close. They dropped a game at home to St. Mary's. This is their second game all season away from Salt Lake. I think that's kind of crazy in late December. To me, Iowa still feels a little underrated. They beat a full-strength Washington State team. They beat Northwestern. They played Michigan even at Michigan. They should have beaten Iowa State. The interior and glass could be a problem for Iowa, but I also think Utah's stats are kind of skewed towards their competition right now. And I like the Hawkeyes shooting and the way they run shooters off the arc. That's key against Utah. I took Iowa in this game.
Like it, Kai. I sort of leaned that way when I just initially saw the matchup, but we don't have a full feel for Utah. They haven't played a ton of big games yet. They've looked okay when they have. When they actually left, it was the Mississippi State game actually stood out as, all right, this team's pretty solid. Went all the way to Mississippi for that one. But yeah, I'm sitting it out. Gonna save my bullets for other games. UConn at Butler, another Big East game matching the Marquette at Xavier we already mentioned. UConn coming off that OT win. Butler with a cover at Marquette. Kai, I will say I was on Butler. Very fortunate shooting splits for me in that game against Marquette. The shot quality score for that was like 93 to 57 Marquette, which has me a little worried that maybe Butler is, well, if you look at the 3-point splits, I actually kind of buy it. Like Butler made a lot, Marquette missed everything. So I'm a little worried I might have Butler overrated, but a little bit of a letdown for UConn. You've got Magic here in Hinkle. Are you leaning towards home dog or the road favorite?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think UConn's back. I think they're a really good team, but this spread's crazy at Hinkle. KenPom has it 4. It's up to 9.5. Yeah, Butler can hang. They beat Mississippi State. They beat Northwestern on neutrals. They have a lot of size. They have good paint defense, and they should get plenty of trips to the foul line. They're like top 10 in free throw rate. UConn's been fouling everything that moves so far this season. And I like their optionality on the wing to combat McNeely. I think they have enough size in the perimeter to throw a couple bodies at him. So yeah, Butler 9.5 for me. Hope in blue gets me to a win there.
Yeah, I'm just surprised the market bet UConn. So, I mean, UConn's been playing better, right? They've looked more like the team we thought they were preseason. I just don't think they deserve to be bet up to like 8.5 on the road against, like you said, a Butler team that's not.
Concerns me something's going on and someone knows something.
Yeah,
honestly.
It hit 10. It's been back down to 8.5.
Back down, yeah. So there was some resistance, which I think gives you. Yeah, it's not like a one-way betting, stream where we feel like they know the final, and it turns out most of the time they do. But I'm with you. I mean, I think Butler is. I mean, God, how desperate do you have to be? Like, this team was like really close to having one of like the best non-con resumes after that MTE. They almost, and then they go to Houston, get smacked, and now it's just been kind of a downward spiral. The North Dakota State game was very deflating, got beat at home. This is their game. They got to play well today. I kind of like the 8.5, but this is like a make or break point in Butler season. Like if they crack today, I think this is a Butler team I might be fading going down the stretch, just with sort of the hope air out of balloon deflating dynamic. We'll see.
Yeah, I stared at the 9 and I never took it. Now that it's 8.5, I'm like, should I jump in? My numbers kind of indicate that I should, but then that feels like the type of game that lands on 9, and I feel like an idiot for missing the right one.
But yeah, but you have the market confidence that you sometimes like. But yeah, I try to ignore. I know what you mean. I had the same feeling with Iowa. It's like, oh, the market agrees. Maybe I'll just bet it at -2. It's like, I could have had pick.
Love what Kai said about free throws, though. Top 10. I didn't realize Butler was that high in free throw rate, number 6 in the country, and UConn on the road may not get a friendly whistle. The crowd is going to be chirping at Hurley if he starts to get through his histrionics there on the sideline.
Yeah.
All right, another semi-neutral game here. Actually, we closed with 2 of those. Auburn playing in Birmingham. You assume the crowd's going to be pretty pro Tigers here. Taking on Purdue. Matthew, the Boilers off a loss to another SEC team last weekend, Texas A&M. I wrote this game up for Action Network. I actually like Auburn up to 9 without Broom, and if he's in there, I think this is a bargain. I mean, KenPom makes it 12. I think Auburn's got the athleticism to bother Purdue's guards, the pressure. They can switch. They don't have to sit and drop coverage and let Braden Smith pick them apart. So I'm an Auburn guy here, despite a kind of a eye-popping number for Purdue.
I said I like Purdue. I think when we talked about this on our podcast, and I still think I do, but the more I look at it, the less I like it, just because I just feel like Auburn's that good. And a lot of these neutral site games we see, like the number feels bigger than it should be, but sometimes it does play to a higher number, and that's what's kind of been the case with me. At least I've lost a lot on dogs on neutral, so I'm trying not to fall in that same trap here. That said, I still like Purdue. I mean, Broom, I know we'll see how effective he is if he plays, right? I mean, that's going to be the key. But to Jim's point, maybe this is just a different, a tier above Purdue's operation in terms of talent and just what Auburn brings to bear on both ends.
Yeah, Broom is the key, obviously. He is cleared, apparently, from doctors, which is a crazy diagnosis when you see a chyron at the bottom of the screen saying, Broom avoids surgery. He starts his rehab process immediately. It's like, okay, he's probably out for a while. And now he's cleared and could play immediately. Yeah, he's worth at least 2 points. He could be worth even more. Cardwell is very, very good, and so is the cast, but I think Broom is that important. He's the best player in the country right now. Physicality, Jim's right, is very lopsided in favor of Auburn. It's going to feel a little bit like men versus boys. TKR is going to be not much of use, in my opinion. It's going to be a lot of Braden Smith and Lawyer. They can shoot. Purdue, it's the great equalizer. Painter's a great coach. If Broom's out, I think +9 would be a bet on Purdue for me. If he's in, not touching it, I think Auburn could run away with it.
Okay, so yeah, monitor Broom's status. I think, like I said, I think if Broom's in, this is a bargain on Auburn. If he's out, Kai really likes Purdue. Purdue gave up almost 50% offensive rebound rate to Texas A&M last weekend. I still think that is a concern. This is the worst ranking a Painter team has ever had, defensive rebound rate. They're barely inside the top 200. It's weird. They're playing smaller, and it hasn't really worked, and Auburn's got the size, even without Broom, that I think they can really create problems there. I lean towards the under because I think this game slows down, but both teams are so efficient, and it's 6 points under the KenPom total right now. So I can't really recommend it at the current stage.
So real quick, so a list I have here today: neutral site, large dogs, Purdue, Syracuse, and Princeton. Just like I'm trying to like
Princeton's not large, right?
I mean, it's gotten to 7. I just think like they all feel inflated to me, but the neutral thing is why I'm staying away from them. Just there's a lot of weird stuff.
Wouldn't you put Ohio State in that category?
Ohio State, yes, right. That's not. Yep, exactly. Agreed.
Okay.
7,
all right, last game on the outline here in the Bay Area, Stanford at the SAP Center in San Jose, hosting, semi-hosting Oregon, a Pac-12 battle or former Pac-12 battle. Oregon laying 5.5. Stanford took a little money overnight. Kai, there's some speculation that it was our guy Stuckey that influenced the market because he posted a Stanford bet on his Action Network log. But Oregon now laying 5.5, total of 149.5. What say you here?
How about it was Big Kai taking Stanford? Yeah, darn right.
Big market Kai. Mover.
Yeah, another former Pac-12 game. How fun. Yeah, Kyle Smith knows Oregon. Dana Altman knows Kyle Smith. It's hard to tell if the Cardinal are good. They've beaten one top 100 team. They've lost to Cal Poly and Grand Canyon. And Oregon's resume is very impressive. I've said multiple times, they've been winning some tight ones. They've been coming back from being down big. So I don't think they're quite as good as their resume says. Still a very good team. The Renault versus Biddle battle is going to be very fun. Stanford size, I think, a really nice combat for the Ducks. I think Stanford's defense has been really weak, though. Very much their weak link. Maybe Kyle Smith, Matt, will get cute, throwing some curveballs defensively, throw some zone out there. I liked it at 7. I don't like it at 5.5, so it's a pass for me at that number.
Yeah, I mean, just it's gonna be a fun chess match, and I think the familiarity in this case, you could argue, favors the dog. I actually took Oregon though, Jim. I just think it's a little bit cheap, and I think Kai's point about Stanford being, are we as good as they think they are? I think they're very solid, but I don't know if there's like much more upside. I think they've played to like the 95th percentile of their range of outcomes this year. That's a testament to Kyle Smith. I think the schedule's had a lot to do with it, and we have seen some cracks emerge lately with their defense. I mean, their defense second half against Cal Poly. I know Cal Poly is just a buzzsaw of an offense to deal with, but like they couldn't guard anything. So that's my concern. I think Oregon attacks it. Don't like that the market sort of is against me on this one when I'm seeing a lot of these, like I said, favorites on neutrals bet up. This one kind of being an outlier. You can't give much home to Stanford here. Like I don't buy they're going to have like most of the crowd. So I don't know. I'd go Ducks. I'll lead it.
Interesting. All right, Matthew on the Ducks. We just got word that Fedor Zugic has been cleared for Creighton.
Wow.
So huge.
That's big.
Massive,
enormous
boost for the perimeter that really needed some added perimeter scoring juice. Their guard group without Pop Isaacs, that should help them. He's more shooter than scorer, per my opinion of watching him, but spaces the floor, gives another weapon for them alongside Ashworth. Should make them harder to guard. And Villanova obviously has no real tape on him, so they might not have prepared. So keep that in mind as you're betting that. With Oregon Stanford, I don't have a wager on that game. I kind of agree with a little bit with Kai that Oregon has been down in like every game, and if we're going by the old Allen Boston how the game played out, maybe Oregon isn't quite as good as they look at this point. But I believed in Stanford in the preseason, and it hurts my heart to hear Matt be like, Kyle Smith team, not really actually that.
Yeah,
no, it's just
surprising.
It's a young team, and they've just been really good. Blake's been great. Doubt Kyle Smith at your own peril. Of note, Stanford top 25 zone rate this season, so he's really dipping into his bag of tricks of
1-3-1.
But Altman knows it, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Also, Benny Gieler has missed. He missed the last game. Like fell out of the rotation. I think he got banged up. He was really important in the first couple bye games.
Yeah, I think he is banged up, but Smith has like been very willing to move and tinker with rotations. They are pretty deep. Like they're young, but they are kind of deep with talent, just not proven talent.
Well, I disagree so strongly that they're deep. I just like so strongly. They're
running,
353rd in bench minutes. They're not playing Sarin, the Turkish transfer from UC Irvine.
Yeah, that's so I think they have depth. They just haven't used it yet. I don't know why is Sarin not playing. He's way too good to not be playing at all.
I have no idea because I think he's a legitimately very good basketball player and was a key part of Irvine. Although Irvine's just fine without him.
Yeah, so Irvine's better. I don't know. Irvine's just different. So who knows?
Yep. All right, that is it for the outline. Matthew, we'll go back to you for a second roundup of chat mob questions.
Sweetness. Let's talk Kai Temple, Rhode Island. Interesting game here today. I don't know what Temple is at this point. I kind of given up on them when they just laid an absolute egg against Villanova. Maybe that was an outlier. I mean, got a nice win last time out. Rhodey's been just really good, right? -3 so far. Market liked Temple at the opener, bet it down from 4 to 3. Your thoughts? This game it's Springfield, Mass, so kind of a neutral site. At the Mass Mutual Center.
Yeah, I just missed the 4, so I settled for 3.5. I took Temple. I've kind of been against Rhode Island every game, and I've been paying for it a little bit. Rhode Island's definitely better than I've been expecting. For Temple, I still kind of believe in this team, and getting Lynn Greer back, I think, is the biggest point. I think he's super important for them and gives them another dynamic offensively. So I took Temple at 3.5.
Yeah, I would check on Zion Stanford for Temple. I think he matters a little bit.
Yeah, their depth has been sneaky dwindling with those kind of support guards there. Jim, how about one more from Ted Spencer? And here comes my best bet right off the hip from the chat mob.
Oh, baby.
Green Bay, nobody you, going to Drake. 24.5, Jimbo.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to bet Green Bay. I don't want to take Doug Gottlieb against Ben McCollum.
I'm scared.
Oh,
your best bet is Green Bay?
Best bet, Green Bay, biggest bet of the day. This is just like a classic, as my boss calls it, a 2-second handicap. Team just lost to a D2 team at home. You're going to Drake, a team that just got like the best one in its programs. Well, not history, but this year. This is not. I think this is a close game. It's a sleepy Drake effort. Drake by 15, cover.
Boy, my 2-second handicap of this was Of course, I'm gonna bet Drake, not Green Bay. Like literally the opposite 2-second handicap.
That's fair.
Do what you got to do. I did not bet it. I couldn't get there on the number, but
I respect
I also
Matt.
agree with you.
Kai, how about similar spot this year?
Okay.
Evansville scored 30 points against Ohio State, and then they went out and beat or they almost beat Murray State the next game. I just think you just come back after a terrible game.
I don't think those.
Okay,
are similar
maybe,
at all.
but
There's not a coaching mismatch.
I think you might be right, Matt, but I think Gottlieb could be the worst coach in the country, and McCollum could be the best. And I just think
no Anthony Roy.
And 20, I did not lay 25. I thought the spread is, of course, ridiculous, but no chance I'm betting Green Bay. Yeah, hey, good luck. I hope you win, Matthew.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No Anthony Roy. Not a concern for Matt. He doesn't care.
No Roy?
The
Jimmy's
heavy isolation
he's a bad
offense
influence.
missing its only isolation.
I'm not
guy.
sure how they'll score, to be honest. And I think Drake is going to score every possession.
It's been bet way down total-wise, and I agree with that. I missed the number. I'm not on it, but it made sense.
60-45 Drake. That's what it is today.
I'll go 80-40.
80? You scored 80?
I think they're going to score every time down the floor.
2 points per possession.
Yeah, but they're going to take them
at least 1.2.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right. What else?
Sorry, it's still my section. I just went to mull over how my best bet's actually a good bet. Hey, from the Zang gang, DePaul first half. Kai, the Fighting Chris Holtmans. They are at Northwestern, a very short, bus ride or whatever, train up to
take
to
the
Evanston
train.
here.
They take the
train, the red line. The red liners.
Take the yellow.
Or is that the red line?
I think it's purple to yellow or purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The express shoot.
Maybe.
Never actually done it myself. Looks fun. 6.5, Kai, your thoughts?
I guess a little big. Yeah, I made it right where it is, so I have no opinion, to be honest. I think DePaul's a lot better, but I think you kind of saw the St. John's games okay, we're still DePaul, right? We're still not quite there. We still don't have quite power talent. The Wichita win was impressive, but yeah, I think Northwestern's a bit of a different class, but 6.5, staying away. Made it exactly where it is. Nothing, no opinion.
Yes, I like DePaul. Sorry, just my 2 cents there.
Same.
Northwestern as a favorite. I don't think they're going to be a great favorite. From 7-1-2 winners, Jim, ASU. We talked. Oh, sorry, no, we didn't. This is the other game in Springfield, Mass. Arizona State against UMass, who has been a UMass so far this season, but obviously closer to home, quasi home game here. What do you think?
I don't think it matters. I think they suck, and when they play somebody with a pulse, they're gonna repeatedly look bad. Hankins Sanford has been out for them, and I think he actually matters with that run the offense through the big guy at the top of the key, and he's at least mildly intelligent for them to run it through. So I lean ASU, but I didn't want to lay it with Bobby Hurley and didn't quite make the number high enough to lay it. Just kind of gut thinks we see another sort of rollover from UMass.
Kai from Grant Gibbs fan club. Grant Gibbs, who Creighton could use today. Extra body out there, a two-way player. UC Irvine against Duquesne. This is the second year in a row where UC Irvine decides to go play at Duquesne in the worst schedule spot.
Yeah.
It mattered last year, right? I think Duquesne got him, but this year's Duquesne team is kind of dookie. And I kind of like Irvine. I just think schedules aside, they're deep. They've been traveling a ton this year already. They did this last season, and it just didn't bother them, right? It's just kind of an older, adult, deep, veteran team. Don't think the travel spot means anything. I just bet the better team versus the worst team. Very simple.
Yeah, I mean, I've been fading Duquesne basically every single game, and it's annoying because they've had 2 good efforts in the last 3 games. They blew out Delaware after competing in the half, and they absolutely destroyed Towson. I think Duquesne still is really bad. I think Irvine's way better, but the spot's horrible for Irvine, so I stayed away.
6.5 is the number, just for reference there,
Yeah.
Jim. Jim, how about Jacksonville State versus Eastern Kentucky? We'll head to the extra board. I had no take on this game. EKU is hosting Jack State. Game is right around a pick, total 147. I guess I lean Jack State. That's my 2 cents. Just gave your Mizzou Tigers a good run at Columbia.
Yeah, lean that way on the side, but I really like the under. Bet the under here. That's one of my stronger ones of the day. I will debate making it a best bet at the end of the show in a couple minutes here, but that's my strongest. I think Jack State kind of controls more tempo. The Mizzou game was slow, but a shot-making exhibition on both sides. I don't think we'll see that here. I think this one kind of crawls and is a comfortable under.
All right, let's go to rapid fire here. We got some live ones. I'll fire at you guys right back. Steven, UNLV versus UC Riverside. Kai, are Highlanders.
Yep.
I don't love this spot, frankly. I didn't take it. I don't know why I didn't take it. I just feel like this number's too big. UNLV's been fine.
That
I know.
shocks
Spots
me.
don't matter for
You know,
this
I'm going to
team.
bet this.
Come
Thank
on.
you.
This
That
is
is
my
the
best.
reaction
This is
I
my
needed.
best bet. You see your
Really?
Riverside 9.5. Matt,
All right, can I tell us why? While I absolutely
because
bombard
Riverside's
the market.
highly undervalued in the market, and UNLV, while they had a good effort against Dayton, I don't think they should be favored by this. I still think they're kind of a team in a bit of, I don't know, not disarray, but not a finished product by any means. I think Riverside is a good team, and not getting enough respect in the market. So 9.5, Riverside, best bet.
UNLV a little banged up. That effort at Dayton was kind of shaded because Dayton was between playing Marquette and Cincinnati. I think they kind of were sleepwalking through that game, and I don't want to lay points with UNLV. So yeah, I'm with these guys on Riverside. I like them a lot.
Thank you, guys. This is why this show is just kind of helps us all jump off the ledge when we need to be pushed. So thank you for the kind nudge. Hopefully,
love
falls
pushing
into
you off
that.
ledges, man.
Knock on wood. That is my biggest bet of the day. So knock on wood. Let's make sure that hits.
Good. Stay hot, Barrington. Let's go to Ted Spencer again, Jim. Houston first half. I don't want to bring up some tumultuous. I know you've had some issues with the Houston first half thing this year, but perhaps the well will be fruitful today.
Yeah, I never time it right. The one time I made them the best bet first half, they didn't cover by the hook. And last game, they easily dominated first half. So I can't not recommend it. Sampson's been one of the best first half coaches since he arrived at Houston. I did take a little bit of full game, 30.5. I just think they pulverized teams. They were up 40 on Toledo and gave up like a 9-0 run to end the game. Didn't score in the final 4 minutes. I'll take the risk if they don't do that again.
This is a categorically different matchup than Toledo. Texas A&M Corpus Christi is like, press, physical, tough, whatever. But like, I think Houston just like mauls that style. So they could shoot 50 free throws in this game, especially at home. From the chat here, sorry, one more from John. I had a thought in this game, John. Anything on East Carolina, Gardner Webb? I've kind of given up on
East Carolina.
I've given up on ECU mostly. However, I like that Schwartz went to a bigger lineup last game. Jim seemed to work very well. I know they played FIU. I know FIU is, we can't call that an impressive game, but I do think they continue rolling against a team they're probably just more talented than. I think they're going to return to be a fraud later in the conference season. As of now, though, I think it's a good matchup, maybe a good spot with the tweaks that Schwartz made. So I don't know. My 2 thoughts on ECU. Any thoughts on this game, either of you, or move along?
0.
I took some under. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, minus 10, 144 is the total there.
I like hearing that they're playing a bigger lineup if I'm on the under. So give me more of that.
They're not as deep though as I thought. They had a couple injuries. I think they're a little bit shorthanded. But again, no more excuses. I had that team wrong. Fellas, that is all we have from the mob, unless anyone wants to fire one at the buzzer. Chat mobsters, go for it.
Give them a chance.
Hey, Zang Gang. Sorry, Mike. Zang, I'm sorry. UC Irvine first half. We talked about this a little bit. If you're going to bet them, I guess I would lean first half over a full game. But
yeah, I mean, they got down big first half last game and had the roaring comeback. Right. But I see what he's saying. Like, let's avoid the possible letdown with the weird spot legs in the second half. So I buy it.
Kai, last one. James Madison at South Alabama. A little Sunbelt till today. Richie Riley hosting the Dukes. Just of note, the teams with the top 5 zone rates in the country, South Alabama is up there. Like, they are playing exclusively zone. It is a very unique zone. People in the Discord have been talking about that just when you watch it. So tough prep for this semi-new regime. JMU, thoughts? Pick 137 the total.
Yeah, I lean USA at pick, but I did not take anything in this game. Yeah,
I agree. I lean USA as well. And then last one. Sorry, Jim. High Points. Not as fun this year, are they? Who are they playing today?
Still good, just not quite as fun. Yeah.
Yeah, they just kind of leave me feeling cold. They are underperforming their insane talent.
Yes, they are.
They don't really know what to do with the rotation. They ended up with too many players, and it doesn't fit. I don't think they have roles sorted out. So I'm staying away from that and made it like exactly what it is.
All right, best bets, Jim. Do it.
Best bets. All right, I got 2 right now. I'll see if I can come up with the third while you guys are talking. First is Boston U, UMass Lowell under. The old Undertaker is back for this one. I think Boston U can control tempo, slow it down. UMass Lowell has been willing to play slow if they're playing against a slow team. A little bit pace-takey. So under 146.5 between those two. And then I'm sure Matt's not going to approve of this one, but I'm taking the Roos. The hippity hopping with the Kangaroos, plus 2.5 against East Tennessee State. ETSU feeling a little fat and happy after beating a mega injured Elon team. And now they go to Kansas City for a weird pre-Christmas schedule spot. And UMKC has looked legitimately good with very healthy Jamar Brown, and he's been awesome the last 3 games. I think they are, even without Kopp, worth backing there. So those are my 2. UMKC plus 2.5, Boston and Lowell under 146.5. Kai.
Jim, I'm with you on UMKC. I rode with you.
All right,
Roos
good.
up.
I did take the Roos at 4. I really wanted the 3 for some more of that bet, but 2.5 is fine, I suppose. Jimbo. Yeah, UC Riverside 9.5. I'll find one more for the Discord, but the show bet shall be 9.5 UC Riverside.
Beautiful.
I'm sorry, guys. Green Bay is all I have today. I'm serious. I didn't bet much today. I don't like betting right before the holidays. I don't like betting right after the holidays. But when I see a really weird, unique handicapping contrarian Matty against the grain angle, I have to take it. So Dougie Gottlieb and the boys go in to Des Moines and I guess stun the Drake Bulldogs with a 15-point loss. So there it is. 60-45, your final.
Perverse that you're backing Gottlieb against McCollum. God, I can't believe we're
Foster Wonders,
that.
Kai, your boy Rudy, gonna just knock down some open corner threes today. Just a big effort from the Phoenix on the road. But nope, back against the wall. Oh, love it.
All right, yeah, that's it. I don't have another one to pull right now. I
Hey,
probably will
one
add
more,
in
Jim,
the
from the
Discord.
chat. I would take him this one. Ryan N, UC Davis at Pepperdine. There's some big Pepperdine movement in the market of sporting, and there's some Discord members like, why is Pepperdine taking money? Which I kind of agree with. Better backcourt, better coach. The Waves, though, are decently solid up front. I think we maybe undervalued their front line. So
didn't they get 2 guys eligible, Matt? Is that why?
I thought that was next game. I'm sleep deprived and
so the box score
with my
says
homework,
Saunders played 1 minute last game and did nothing. I don't know if he actually played. That seems weird to me. They would just put him out there to like give a teammate a high five and then sit back down. But I do think that might be why there's money. I don't really care about Kyle Braun from Marshall.
I don't either.
But Saunders could be a difference maker. I still took UC Davis when they were favored. I'm bad CLV there, Matthew.
Yeah, who cares? CLV's stupid. Kai, last one. Furman at Harvard.
Nothing. PJ.
PJ Smith injury thing there. If he's in, I like Furman, but I don't think he's playing. He dislocated his shoulder. Can you just pop back in and go?
His arm was in a sling. I don't know.
After I thought Harvard was awesome to start the year, I think Harvard is not that good.
Yeah,
so even without PJ Smith, I would not take Harvard.
Agree.
Lean to over.
Okay, sorry for the
without PJ Smith.
Best bets have been. That's all we have. That's all we have, Jim. Right, sign us off.
Wow, I'm just waiting for like 3 more last ones from you, Matthew. You're making me smile.
I know it's a big board today, Jim. Fun board again. I say that, but I have very little action, so I like to talk about it all.
If we missed your game, hop in the Discord, ask us there. We'll give quick thoughts. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Enjoy the wonderful sports day we have today. Your NFLs, your college football playoffs, 100 college basketball games.
Woo.
Doesn't get much better than this. These two, hopefully, maybe I'll see Matthew today. Get Papa Cox to venture out for a beverage before he goes back home to his child. But enjoy, folks. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Cheers.